It's Bunny Love, folks. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my channel. If you wouldn't mind, please do hit the subscribe option. Also, next to that option is a little bell. If you could click on that bell, anything that I upload will come straight to your notifications. You'd be up on it immediately. I want to talk a little bit about Miss Tracey. Let's get into that.
Hey everybody, so I want to talk a little bit about Tracey. I want to talk about Tracey's episode. Tracey's episode was very, very good. It was one of the ones that kept me really watching. Some of the episodes I get bored with, but Tracey's episode to me was not boring at all. It was very, very good. And it was her and her husband. It was just another couple that, ended up having some serious problems with the fact that she wanted to get healthy and lose the weight. I would just like to say that Tracey was very different. Even Dr. Now talked about how different she was, how she had a unique case. If you look at her upper body, she's really not that big. Well, she wasn't on the show. She was not that big. Like, her upper body looked like it was no more than like maybe 170 to 200 pounds. It was her bottom half, her legs were every bit of about 300-400 pounds. All the weight was in her legs. Like, she was carrying all of that weight down at the bottom. So, when I first watched the show, I was like, this woman doesn't look very big. But then when they showed her whole frame, I was like, okay, it's her legs. Her legs were the problem. Her legs were the really serious problem. And she ended up not even getting weight loss surgery. She just ended up getting surgeries on her legs to remove the severe lymphedema. That's what she had. The lymphedema was really bad. And Dr. Now just made the decision that there was no need to give her weight loss surgery. She just needed to get those big masses off of her legs. She struggled a little bit. You all know the routine. They get things together. They go down to Houston, meet with the doctor. Doctor puts them on a diet. She struggled a little bit with the diet at first. She did. Her husband came across very supportive in the very beginning. But even before the episode even got halfway through, I already could sometimes you can just kind of feel how it's going to go. I could tell that those two were going to end up having problems. I'm going to tell you why. Because in the first part of the episode, when they first introduced her husband, and, they were saying that, Tracey was talking about her kids. She had, some kids with, from a previous relationship. She ended up in a nursing home or something. And by that time, she had broken up with the first guy. And then she ends up in a nursing home because of some type of illness, nursing home, rehab, something. So she gets online while she's there, and she meets this man online. Tracey likes the chocolate. She met a what appeared to be a nice black man. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what she liked, that's what she liked. So she gets with this man, and when they first put him on camera, and he introduced himself and he talked about how they met and things of that nature, he said one thing that was it told me everything. He says, I like the fact that she needs me. I like to be needed, and when a man likes to be needed, anybody really, but on this show, it's usually the men. When they get with these heavy set women because they need them. They depend on them. And they feel a sense of power because they're being depended on. And when Tracey got to the point where, and he was doing everything for her. In the first beginning, he was doing everything for her, bringing her meals, helping her get in and out of bed, helping her bathe, everything. He was doing everything for her. When they got down to Houston and she got the diet plan and everything from Dr. Now, and then she started trying to do this diet thing. Once she started, at first she struggled a little bit, but once she started making progress, that's when we started to see another side of the husband. Now all of a sudden, it's you're gonna have to start doing things for yourself. Well, she hadn't even lost that much weight yet. She hadn't lost enough weight yet for you to be. I mean, she still needed some help. Like they had moved down to Houston. They were staying in one of those extended stay hotels, and she had to go to, I think she had to go see a lymphedema specialist. And she told him, she said, "Look, I need some help getting there." And he's like, "Well, you're gonna have to learn how to start doing things for yourself." It was almost like he still wanted that power. He knew that, she still needed him. And she was still very dependent on him. She was beginning to make progress, but she hadn't made it all the progress that she needed just yet. And going to this doctor to see this lymphedema specialist for these huge masses on her legs was something very serious. She needed to go. He didn't want to take her. I have to work. I understand that. I understand you have to work. We get it. People have to work for a living, especially if you're staying in an extended stay hotel. Those places are kind of expensive for just, average everyday people. I think they want some of them as much as $500 a week, between $300 and $500. So they could have been paying along, that much, which I get it. He had to work. But how about you just let your boss know you need to come in early because you got to help your wife with something that's pertaining to her health. Come in late. You can't come in as early. Or put in a request for that day and go just make sure you're back at work tomorrow. Help your wife. But when you get into a lot of times when you get into a relationship with a person that's at their lowest point, if they ever in their life, whether it's weight, health, whatever, and they get to the point where they want to improve and get better, you're standing a very strong chance of you're not dependent on that person anymore. They don't need you anymore. They're going to get big-headed and they're going to end up moving on. That's probably how he was thinking. He was thinking that. So even though it don't seem like that's the case, Tracey seemed like she really loved her husband and she was going to stick around. Even though that didn't seem like the case, I guess that's what he was afraid of. He was afraid of, oh shit, well, she's probably going to fuck around and leave me because she's getting better. So I can help her now, even though I do like the fact that she's dependent on me. But since we're halfway in, let me still exercise a little bit of power. When she needs my help now, I'm not going to help her. And that's kind of like how he was carrying it. They didn't, from what I've seen on the show, and future, I don't think they did a Where Are They Now, but I've been reading up on them online. I think they are still together. It doesn't look like they've broken up, but he was a little threatened. He was a little bit threatened. He was threatened by the fact that she was going to be turning into a whole totally different person. So it really wasn't very much to say about this particular episode. It was just the relationship dynamic and the fact that she did make some progress. She didn't have to get the surgery, which was good. She just had to get those masses removed off of her legs. And I'm happy for her. I'm happy things are getting better for her. Happy that she was able to, by the end of the episode, she had made some progress. They seem to kind of get things in order, her and her husband. They seem to get right, toward the end of the episode. They didn't break up, but they were on shaky ground. I mean, you could tell her progress was pissing him off, and her kids seem to be very supportive. She had 2 sons and a daughter, and she was very emotional about the fact that they were having children. She was a grandmother now, and she was just so, she was bedbound. She couldn't get up and be a grandma like she wanted to. That's where a lot of emotion came out where Tracey was concerned. She was very, very emotional about the fact that she just couldn't really be there for her children, and her grandchildren rather. And I think that's what mainly drove her to doing what she had to do as far as losing the weight and getting the right surgeries that she needed so that she could live a healthier life. Yeah. And she wanted to, I got the impression that she wanted to get healthier so that she could improve her relationship with her husband. But, I don't think he saw it that way. I think he was threatened. And the way she was coming across, it was just almost kind of like she wanted to lose the weight so they could do more recreational things together, spend time together. And she expressed how he was emotionally detached. He just wasn't there for her towards, in the beginning, he was there. He did everything. He even wiped and washed her ass. I mean, he was there. But that's not a big, it's a big deal, but then it's not. It's like, yeah, it's a big deal that somebody's wiping your ass. But then on another hand, it's like some people will do anything. Some people will go to the ends of the earth just so that they can have that power. And if washing her up and wiping her ass meant that he was going to have control and she was going to need him and be dependent on him, if that's what it took for him to get that power, then that's what he would do. So he did everything for her at first. He cooked, he kept the house clean, served her meals, bathed her, helped her get dressed, helped her get around. He was all-American husband, But once she started to get better, his behavior began to change because he was losing control. And people, I'm telling you, when people start to lose control, you're going to see the real them. You're just not going to see the person that you saw in the beginning. You're going to see a whole when you change, they change. And it happens because they feel like they have to redefine their role in the relationship. That's not how they came into the relationship. They came into the relationship with you being obese and overweight. And they got used to that. So now that you're turning into somebody else, they don't know how to handle it. Everything's just, out of whack. So, okay. That's basically all I wanted to say about Tracey's story. I am happy for Tracey. Very happy for Tracey. I'm glad she made progress. I hope she's still on the right path. Follow me, you guys, on all social media. My ending credits will have all of the information as to where you can find me on the net. Peace and blessings. Thanks for joining me. And check out my other videos. They're not exactly where I want them to be just yet, but they're coming along. They are coming along. Just getting into reviewing other shows. My 600-pound life videos are the ones that do the best on this channel. But I'm trying to get my feet wet with celebrity talk and reviewing other shows. I will be reviewing Married to Medicine tonight, episode 3, and Growing Up Hip Hop, episodes 1 through 4. I will be uploading that today, the review. I wasn't really sure about whether or not I should review that show or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and jump right on in and review it, even though it's like in the middle of the season. I think this season only has 6 episodes. Because there's a whole new cast out of New York. And I was just like, there's not that many episodes to even review the show. But it's actually a pretty good show. So I'm just going to jump in there, review it, upload that today. Look for that if you watch that show. And yeah. Hit me up, you guys, on other social media platforms. Peace.